Hallelujah, Hare Krishna. Today is Friday, Freya's Day, Frau's Day, Free Day, Aphrodite Day, Venus Day, Ishtar Day, the Tomb Day, because Monday is the Moon Day, the beginning of the work week, during which you get a weekend. And you need to have a weekend after you've been weekend to recharge your battery so you can go back to the womb. Well, the day of the tomb, when you're freed from the womb of work of the world, is Friday, Free Day. You're let free. Aphrodite, Venus is Friday. Freya, Fry is Freya. Monday is the moon, Luna. Those are the only two girls in the seven. The rest are male. Tuesday's Mars, Wednesday's Woden's Day, Mercury, Thor. Thursday is Thor, Friday is Freya, as I said. Saturday is Saturn, Sunday is Sun. There's two girls. The womb and the tomb. The mama is everything, the matrix. The matrix means womb originally. It's etymology. Look it up on etymonline.com. It's where matter comes from, mater in Greek. Mother. Your body is your mother, your ball, your beta, your Betty. Your soul is your alpha, Aleph. That which is above and beyond this material universe. That which is within it, yet transcends it. In the world, but not of the world. And today's date is September the 14th, 914, originally 714, because as I've said over and over, September 7. 9/11 was a 7-Eleven ritual. It's like the convenience store. But I already did my ranting videos. I don't rant, I speak. Enough of this rant crap. I speak truth. I follow my bliss. And my bliss is soothsaying, truth-telling. It's not following the herd of sheeple and being afraid to stand out from them and stand apart. I'm meant to stand apart from them because I'm the one. I'm an individual. I'm not a we or a me. That's my secondary effect, the we and the me. The two eyes of lies. I'm the one. I'm the one in which the two are sourced. The one and the three. 13 and 1 are equivalent, by the way. 13th hour of the day is 1 p.m. 13 is 1. Same. The sun goes through 12 positions, 12 steps in the sky, 12 months, 12 houses of the zodiac, 12 positions, the 12 apostles, 12 tribes of Israel, Israel, the moon, the sun, and Saturn. The sun is the one going through the 12. 12 plus 1 is 13. And the original lunar calendar is 13 moons, months, 28.5 days. So this is a cosmic number. It has to do with our structure and everything, how everything works. 12 pairs of cranial nerves. Everything that's filled with light throughout our history has been made fearful by the powers that believe they be. The monarchs, the one rulers of money, the criminals who own it. They've made everything to do with light and who we really are, the soul, El Soul, scary, frightful. That's why people see 13, they think, ooh, bad luck. Like the Knights Templar, they excommunicated the Knights Templar on Friday the 13th. That's why everyone thinks Friday the 13th is so terrible. They burned all the Knights Templar, the Vatican, the Universal Catholic Church with its Inquisition, the unholy church, which has done nothing but malign the divine, give it a bad name with their materialism and their sickness. Lucifer, light bearer. Lucifer, like Christopher, Christ bearer. Christ is light, as he says. So Christopher and Lucifer are the same. Why is the devil called? Why do they give a devil a name meaning or call the light bearer the devil? What is with that? Why? Well, I'll tell you why. Because they want you being afraid of the light, and they want to have it all to themselves. There's no literal devil. There's no literal God. God and devil are good and evil. They're symbolic, metaphorical of good and bad behavior, of good and bad qualities, of hot and cold, young and old, life and death, summer and winter, summit and valley, head and heel, the above and the below, the alpha, beta, as above, so below, as within, so without. You want wholeness, you want integrity, you want integration, you want to be an integer, you want to be one. That's what real integrity is. Now with the corporations or politicians like Bill Weld, when I was growing up, his thing was guts, integrity, and independence. I have integrity, guts, and independence. He never even defined integrity, right? It means to be an integer, to be whole, wholly healthy. That's what you become honest as an effect of that. People think having integrity means being honest. Well, you got to be whole before you can be honest, honest, have one mind, and not be too double-minded, duplicitous with the two eyes of lies. You got to come into unity, consciousness, truth. Like what Satguru says about meditation. Meditation is a consequence. To have a meditative consciousness, contemplative in the temples, is a consequence of right living and right action, being balanced and integrated and being whole. Not eating too much, not sleeping too much, eating just the right amount and not eating dead animals, and doing good, doing right things, treating others well. Meditation's a consequence. People want the consequence without having to, get healthy first, get whole and holy first. Like, he uses the metaphor of growing flowers, right? People want the flowers without having to, take care of the sunlight and the soil and the whole process that you have to undergo to get the flower. People don't want that. They just want the flower, the consequence. But you got to do the work too. How far have we gone? 7:12. So I have some time to read from Foreseen Beyond Time. This will be the 27th reading from this. We've reached page 98. I'm sorry, we've reached page 100. We finished 99 yesterday, when I said that it says, study the Krishnamurti principle, thought and thinker are one. Page 100, let's go. Chapter 12. The fourth dimensional reptilians introduced a fear-based Trojan into the operating system in order to counteract the intelligence communications of the soul. Which means you, the ego, answer back rather than carry out the required upgrade as part of your own soul development. As we grow through lifetimes of incarnation levels, the soul clicks on files that will expand and enhance our development, resonating with the source to carry out the necessary tasks. Reading a codex from the future or a mind-altering book is a life of soul enhancement. Living in nature creates a resonant file of enhancement, as is planting and eating the right food, healing and protecting the earth, developing new ways to interact with the environment, humanly and energetically engineered nutrition, developing an advanced economy while moving between the worlds, enhancing a soul. All of these sane things are soul-enhancing files stored in the DNA operating system of mankind. But due to the ego, which is time and fear-based, when the soul-enhancing files get clicked upon, thought opposes intelligence, wishing to design its own operating system. The problem is that we run thoughts non-stop through the brain until thoughts run amok, go off on tangents, and take over the whole brain, reconnecting nerve pathways. This is HAL 9000 in Kubrick's 2001 A Space Odyssey, where intelligence steps in and eventually disconnects thought. The out-of-control machine. Agent Smith in The Matrix. One must stop and press pause. Pause. What's the pause symbol? 11. Eleven. Where are the thoughts coming from? Observe. Pay attention. What is the deeper pattern? The inner awareness has to stay centered no matter what is coming into the mind from outside. When we sit still, we create silence in the mind. Through observation, the inner intelligence is peace of mind. All this super reactive behavior comes from thought, which is time and fear-based, the ego interfering with the original design. And this type of interference divides our existence on earth from first soul contact. All religions and all political and scientific belief systems take the human earth child and bombard it with fear-based systems. These systems of psychological fear are there to activate the damaged hard drive, to suppress the original cosmic operating system. The human race has been hijacked and its journey delayed, which is where it stands now. Now. 2007 this was published. 11 years later, it's just as true. Connection to first source is only possible from within, and not via the manuals known as scriptures. The Master of the Light merged with the holographic field, showing scenes from the altered history of mankind. He walked straight into the newly built temples of ancient Greece. No one on the screen appeared to see him as he moved behind the scenes of the ancient Parthenon temples and out into the sunlight. The scenes changed into Judea. People were running carelessly through the narrow, dusty streets, fleeing the Roman centurions, just as 2 millennia later we would see the Buddhist monks fleeing the Chinese soldiers running through the streets in Burma. He appeared in Paris as the moon, Saturn, and Uranus and Neptune aligned in the 12th degree of Scorpio. It was the 30th of September, 1307, 2 weeks before the Knights Templars were arrested by Philip the Fair. The Templars' commander asked the Master of Light to take their treasure into safety. He carried their secrets into the future. The holograph seemed to fade. The Master of the Light passed through the vortex portal where he appeared to walk between fragile cracks of narrow rainbow light. Talor opened the supercomputer no one had ever operated before, and entered the required commands via a new crystal slate technology, using very ancient Tai Chi and Tao Te Ching techniques to operate a holographic force field. The spiral arrow sign appeared on the screen. Onto the crystal slate comes first contact, known by now as the future database QRC 2137, the codex from the future, and we started all over again. The solar eclipse moved over the cursor on her small crystal slate screen, while Talor activated it with one click on her wristwatch to see writings of Jiddu Krishnamurti appear within the holographic light source. She read, "Thought and the thinker are one, but it is thought that creates the thinker, and without thought there is no thinker." So one has to be aware of the process of conditioning, which is thought. And when there is awareness of that process without choice, when there is no sense of resistance, when there is neither condemnation nor justification of what is observed, then we see that the mind is the center of conflict. In understanding the mind and the ways of the mind, the conscious as well as the unconscious, through dreams, through every word, through every process of thought and action, the mind becomes extraordinarily quiet. And that tranquility of the mind is the beginning of wisdom. Wisdom cannot be bought, it cannot be learnt, it comes into being only when the mind is quiet, utterly still, not made still by compulsion, coercion, or discipline. Only when the mind is spontaneously silent is it possible to understand that which is beyond time. Only when the mind is silent is it possible to understand that which is beyond time. Namaste, Hallelujah, Hare Krishna, Aloha, Om Shanti.